Hey everybody, it's Micah with Memberry Man. Today we get to talk to a man who didn't win this award because it didn't exist, but he should have, and it should have existed, and that is Dobbin Buck. He should have won Partner of the Decade from Keep. So if you don't know who Dobbin is or Keep, stay tuned, you'll learn more about that. But he's been so influential in the Keep space. He and his company, Get You Wired, they've won many Partner of the Year awards and I'm sure all sorts of other awards. But he's really just a solid guy, good guy. He's been my very dear friend for over a decade, and I think he's about to be one of your very good friends. So please welcome Mr. Snoop D-O-B-B, aka The Dobbs, aka the Fisher of Business, Mr. Dobbin Buck. Thank you for joining us.
Right on, man. That's the best yet. Thanks, Micah. Killer.
Yeah, man. Well, so you and I, we've known each other a long time, and I think I kind of get you, but I'm going to give like a short sketch of kind of who you are a little bit, and then if you'll add on to it, that'll be great. So Dobbin, he and his company, they're in Georgia, so he's got kind of the beard. Dobbin loves fishing, but they build all sorts of projects for Keep, I'm sure for other systems, but he has coders, designers, all sorts of people. How many people are in your company now, Dobbin?
I don't know exactly, but I think it's around 54, 55, somewhere there.
Gotcha. So, and you've been doing this, how long have you been with Get You Wired?
Well, I was notified the other day that we're like 20 years old now.
Man.
So, yeah, that's a long journey, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's cool because you have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. So I want to talk to you about kind of membership sites and courses, but from a little bit of a different angle, because I know you know so many of the big influencers and you kind of know what the launches are all about and all that kind of stuff. But there's also beginners, and I know you probably don't deal with as much of them. So just try to, if you can, bridge the gap a little bit, and we'll shoot for somewhere in the middle. So my first question is, what is one of the best membership sites you've seen and why? Like, what comes to mind when you think of, oh, that's a great like membership site or course?
Well, I'm really fond of this one particular site, and it's right in the middle where you asked me to be, RBT. So we have a Membarium membership site that is for rubber band therapy. Dave Schmitz is the influencer on that one. And so he's the rubber band guy, and he teaches people how to exercise using a variety of different strength rubber bands in the comforts of their own home. And he was doing exceedingly well pre-COVID. When COVID hit and everybody needed to exercise from home, and I mean, everything blew up for this guy. I think he was trying to figure out how to get containers of rubber bands from Asia because he was selling out. And a important factor in this is not that he does have great rubber bands, by the way, but he's prolific in creating content and different routines and different methodology, and he has tons of free resources, video resources for people, and then also paid resources. And so I've been able to see his business grow from he and his wife leaving their jobs to begin this business to becoming an exceedingly successful brand with a huge following. And I would personally attribute a great deal of that to the way that he has been able to leverage content, get content at the appropriate times in front of people with the appropriate bands, with the appropriate physiology of people and what they're trying to accomplish with their bodies. And that really attends a lot to the way that we're able to filter content in appropriate strategic manners to his audience, and to keep that stickiness and to keep people, first of all, on their exercise programs, keep them interested with new things, and to help them to elevate into, heightened levels of transactional relationships with him.
You covered a lot of ground there. So let me try to restate it, or at least a little bit of it. So you're talking about how he's got the content game down, but he's also got physical products, and then he's matching that stuff up with people based on them and where they're at. Um, how is he facilitating that much complexity? How do you not make it over complex?
Well, within the context of the membership site, you're actually able to do that. In other words, if you just tell someone, oh, go to my YouTube channel, and by the way, he has a great YouTube channel too, but you've got like 6 years of, of content there that you sort of have to wind your way through and find what you're looking for. Ultimately, within the context of the membership site, we're able to break down, different exercises for different parts of the body, for different types of strength, for different types of mobility, all of that, to where really wherever you're at in your exercise routine, that you can find your place within the context of that educational material. So it's really crucial. I couldn't imagine. I mean, this guy has shot thousands of videos to like try and wind your way through his content without a guide. And that's really what the membership is. It's a gated, structured, strategic guide to help people. Then there's also the the gated aspect and different levels of membership within the site. But it's just been super successful. And you're right, it's interesting because it is the technology tethered to a physical product. It's amazing.
It's so cool. So I'm going to take like a simple guess at it and help me fill in some of the gaps. When a member signs up, do they take some sort of assessment? Do they take multiple assessments? Like how does the matching kind of take place from a user's perspective?
There is an assessment, but a lot of it is programmatic. In other words, it's fed to them when they're a new, they're getting in new to the programming, that ultimately there is it's not really a choose your own adventure. It's guided to working, because as you start doing exercises, and you can take one look at me, you can tell I'm not an expert at exercise here, but it's really there's different channels that you can go down for where you are, if you're a senior citizen, or if you're depending on where you're coming from. But he's got it all dialed in. Like, this guy has really figured it out.
Okay, so they're just like self-selecting, but it's organized in such a way that they can end up where they want to be.
Yeah, you have to find your way. You're going through programming, and then at some point you branch off into the areas that you want to focus on more.
Gotcha. So in that situation, let's say somebody does end up in the area they want to be in, and is it a membership? Is it a course, like a one-time fee, or is it a subscription?
Well, there is free. One thing he believes in is giving very powerful and useful free content, because ultimately you're making the investment in his physical product. So you've made an investment to have those rubber bands to begin with. But then, yes, then there is a tiered subscription approach that can occur after that.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense in his case, especially with the content. He can beat out any just content person because he's selling the product, right?
Yeah.
His users, do they just buy a certain number of bands and they're done? Is there any sort of consumable ongoing purchasing of the physical goods, or is it just like an initial, hey, you got your kit?
Well, there is a kit that you can buy that has there are different thicknesses and strengths of the bands. And I believe there's several options there, but I think most people would he has a fancy bag that you put them all in, and keeps them organized. But probably if you're working out those rubber bands all the time, you might find that over a period of time that they get worn out. But I don't think that's where his mindset is. It isn't like a disposable product. Like, this is a high quality rubber band that's supposed to last a long time. And really, I mean, this guy is just like a really genuine person that cares about people and cares about his clients and just wants them to see them have the best life that they can for himself. It's not like, oh, where can I squeeze another dime out of these people? It's not like that. It's like, how can I give these people an amazing experience to where they tell 5 of their friends about this amazing experience and they join in the party.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm trying to be too business technical here, but so that's kind of like, let's call that the dream, right? That probably most membership people have when they come in, is something along the lines of what you just said. They're going to get this resonance with their market and they're going to over deliver, and people are going to respond by buying their premium stuff. How often do you think that's the case? Or when it's not, what happened? You know, like if somebody's trying to over deliver and they're not getting people to buy the premium end, you know, what would you tell them?
I would say reevaluate what you're delivering, and also pay close attention to your audience. Generally, if you're that far off the mark to where you're getting people in and then ultimately you're not getting a conversion to the premium offering, it's really some strategic work needs to be done on the messaging, the product, and how you're moving people through there. It might need to put another step in the process to graduate them. There's any number of different things, because you asked a very simple question, but where my mind goes is that there could be a number of different answers, but to me it would be to go back and reevaluate the customer journey, the messaging, and look very closely at the conversion data that you have. So what was the roadmap for the individuals that did graduate to the premium product? You know, what differentiated them, and the data. And when I say data, I'm referring to, you know, in your CRM, the conversion data, the marketing data. You know, what was the lead source? Where did they, you know, what was their attribution coming into this? Where did they come from? And this is really important. What content did they absorb inside of the membership site? Like, were they prolific in their absorption of the educational material, or were they dipping and dabbling all over the place? Were they following a prescribed plan, or were they going off all rogue within the system? If we're setting up our membership sites correctly, we should be getting a feedback loop on how people are consuming our educational or instructional material, to the point that then we can use that as data to help define what behavior constitutes a conversion to premium.
Gotcha. And I love that I can throw challenging questions at you and get such good answers. And not that my question was good, your answer was good, because the question's kind of vague and open and broad. Let's take a little bit of a different direction for a minute. You are a fisherman. So let's say you were going to start a membership site all about fishing, right? And you're going to become the world's foremost fishing expert. You've got all this experience. And let's put more to the scenario. Let's say that, like, okay, you have to start over, you're broke, and you know, you got to make this thing successful, right? What are you going to do? Like, are you going to build a mini course? Are you going to go network with all the biggest fishing people? Like, what's the Dobbin approach with all your experience?
The Dobbin approach, and you hit it there at the end, is that I would be networking with people with an audience. So I'm assuming with your question that I have a modest or small audience or no audience, and I'm trying to break into this. So I generally I don't invest into anything that I don't have a plan for traffic generation. And I will be the first person to tell you that I am not let me go throw a bunch of money onto Facebook ads and try and drive people to something. It's just not my way. And my clients do it. I've seen a lot of people do it. I'm more of a relationship person, to where I want to partner with someone that has the ideal audience for my material for my product and convince them, through, I maybe not have anything to show them, but, narrative form that, hey, if I can put this together, if I can get this, into some semblance of an MVP, then would you be interested in participating in this? And that could be in a joint venture, that could be in a sponsorship, that could be in a partnership, that could be in a I just like you deal, but structure is generally important, because there's a lot of people out there that say, yeah, man, I'd love to help you out. And then when the rubber hits the road, nothing's happening. So I do like to approach it structure, but that is where I would begin, is making sure that I had something to get off the ground with, because this is where I see, and I want to get back to MVP, but where I see a lot of great ideas not reach their potential or even begin to reach their potential is because people throw tons of money into developing a educational portal, whatever we want to call it, our membership site. And then they're sort of in this field of dreams mentality of build it and they will come. I'm here to tell you folks that has not been my experience. That we really need to plan for how we're going to drive people, how we're going to get people into it. We can make assumptions that the content's going to be great, the programming is going to be great, and we can always start off something that's not overcomplicated. MVP, back to the MVP. I'll be quiet just 1 second, because I'm getting old and I forget things if I don't get back to it.
Go, you're good.
I see people coming in, having a vision, and they want to take every cent they have and build this grand vision from the start of a membership site. And without the plan for, the traffic, without knowing how to build up to that. And it really isn't necessary. Ultimately, I think that the more successful sites really start with a basic plan, get something up that they can get some traction enough to start marketing and generating interest in it. And it could be free. It could be the non-transactional freemium version of getting people reliant on your voice and your education, and then expand them into the more grand paid version, and then coaching and masterminding or whatever you want to add on to the tail end of it. But I've seen way too many people going overboard. And you have a great, in your deck presentation on membership sites, about the different levels of people coming into membership sites. And my project managers all have a screenshot from your presentation of that. And we have used that time and time again to say, let's just tap the brakes for a second here. You aren't ready for this. We need to start here. And we learned that from you.
Dude, I'm glad that was helpful. As you were talking, I'm like, yeah, I'm just nodding my head right along with you, everything you're saying, because I believe the same thing. Everybody does, just like you were saying, they overdo it. And I want to compliment you on, when I threw you this fishing question, you didn't get lured in, pardon the pun, to like, oh, here's how I would structure my content, and here, I would make this course and that course, and I love flight. It was, hey, where are we going to get the audience from? And it almost sounds like you're saying you would go in kind of maybe not fully negotiate, but at least do everything you can to prearrange all of that, so that then when you're making your course, you know exactly who it's being sold to and how, and that it's going to be worth it and so on, which I think is just genius. Once you say it, it makes perfect sense, right, in hindsight, but I wouldn't have expected that answer. I haven't gotten that answer from anyone. So yeah, like, the MVP side of it, and then also the arranging the audience. I think if anybody has a shot at succeeding in a space, your approach is probably the best. Find an audience, arrange an MVP, test it out. If you can't sell a good MVP to somebody else's warm audience, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, let's change directions a little bit. Let's talk for a second. And I may end up only allowing certified partners to watch this part, but let's talk a little bit about them. So, well, we'll stop the partner part right there. To get back to the wider audience, the bigger membership course audience, any final thoughts for them? Like if you had a room full of them and you could get up and say whatever you want, what would it be?
Since you and I were in Austin at an event, a single word has been echoing through my mind over and over again. And the word is optimization. And when I think about membership sites and all of the applications and how I've used them internally at my company and what I've done for my clients, it's really boundless. And so I could take any small business, and find an application to where a membership site could optimize their business, whether it's on the operational side, the internal, the hiring, the training, the tracking internally of employees, whether it's educating, educating your clients, welcoming your clients, expanding your clients' knowledge of your what you're able to provide them. I mean, the list goes on, and then into training courses and transactional types of systems. But it's amazing. One thing that I was like, I'm really excited about, and I probably shouldn't even talk about it, but I can't resist, is I'm doing this really advanced affiliate and referral partner system for somebody, and I'm embedding it into Membarium. And if you pull all the data from your CRM system, or if you're collecting money from another system, you could pull it from there. But ultimately, you can pull tons of data into a SQL database. You can manipulate it. You can do any sort of mathematic gymnastics that you want to it. And then you can send it over and display that data, time-based, however you want, broken down into multi-tier structures inside of Membarium, and really give people a elegant, friendly experience that was designed to excite them, that was designed to motivate them to refer more business, And so with all the data, if you can pull it out and then deliver it into your member portal, your referral portal, your affiliate portal, which by the way, also has all their swipe copy, their custom links, everything else that you need for them all in one handy dandy spot. It's like a match made in heaven. And I've done this a bunch of times, reproducing, a lot of the functions from that. But what I'm talking about here is taking some things to the next level with additional tiers and other things that we've had to work into the formula. And I'm just really excited about it. And I hear a lot of people, especially if you're dealing with influencers that need to send, they're speaking from stage. They need to send money here. They need to send money here for the people that are supporting them, for their referral partners and everything. It can get really complex. So that is something that has been on my mind a lot, that I'm really enthused about.
So that genuinely excites me because, those of you listening, if you remember back when Dobbin basically said he would go out and he would network, or he would find the audience or whatever, right? That's what we're talking about here. And when he talks about serving that experience on a silver platter, I would argue and have before that giving your affiliates and referral partners a better experience is the highest point of leverage, because they can bring you 1,000 clients, right? And of course you want to create an amazing experience for your clients, but a lot of people, their affiliate experience sucks. People try to get me to promote things, and sometimes I do, but often it's like, here's your link, and then you don't know what happened or where. Like, you have to go hunt down everything. And if I'm envisioning what you're saying a little bit, it's that the affiliate can go in and they can say, well, how much did I make this month or last week or on this product, or get more specific, versus what normally comes along with a lot of systems is somewhat simplified data. So I know, well, you went out into, you used a bunch of technical words, right? And but the win that Dobbin, I think, is talking about, if you get that nailed down, is so big. You can have your customers become affiliates, referral partners, whatever. You can go and recruit those people, but having an experience to bring them into is what it's all about. Even if you build a good relationship, if you don't have that, I don't know what you'd call it, experience portal mechanism, it could easily fall down. And I guess to try to put it more plainly, for those of you listening, because Dobbin, I know you know this, it's that you want to make it as easy and friendly and fun for them as possible, because they could decide not to send your email. They could decide, hey, I'm just not feeling it. And suddenly those 1,000 sales don't appear. So anyways, I love it, Dobbin. I'm hearing what you're saying, and I just wanted to re-emphasize it for people, because that's huge.
Yeah, the only limitation, going back to the core of membership sites, is just our own creativity, because like I said, sales, operations, marketing, education, it being the product itself, every sector of our companies or our clients' companies can somehow benefit and give somebody along that journey, wherever they are in that experience, a better, more useful, time-saving, organized experience. And applies to employees too. When things are organized and they can retrieve data from a knowledge base and an organized with a search bar where they can pull up, it's limitless. You can go into our knowledge base, you can't, but my employees can, and search for, integrations between very strange things. And all of a sudden, from 2 years ago, a developer entered in their notes about how they integrated software A with software C, and that's all in our knowledge portal, and it's all built in in that membership framework. So it's really, really useful stuff.
Well, being that it is Valentine's Day, Dobbin, and you have shown the love to me and to our audience, how can people show you some love? How do people connect with you, with Get You Wired, if they're interested in talking to you or working with you?
Sure. Well, as I may have mentioned earlier, I'm very easy to find personally. If you want to see fishing pictures of me, go to Instagram. I'm at Dobbin. I was an early adopter of Instagram, so I actually got my first name. And you can message me there. You can message me on Facebook. You can go to Get You Wired's website and fill out a contact form and say, hey, I heard Dobbin on the, talking with Mike at Membarium, would love to connect with him. My team will put you in touch with me. And I'm not that difficult of a guy to get a hold of. And we love to help people with, we're a full service marketing agency. So we love to help people with their automation, their web properties, their membership sites, API integrations between systems, advanced coding, you name it. My crazy crew does it. And for other partners of Membarium or Keep, a lot of you know me, but I'm always interested in sharing ideas, making friendships, potential joint ventures, anything. Just hit me up and we'll see what we can roll with.
Beautiful. Well, Dobbin, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Micah. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.